If you ever tried connecting into your spirit guides and you're wondering, why can't I hear them? Are they even there? Am I making this all up? This episode is for you. Because connecting to your spirit guides isn't about becoming more psychic or getting this huge, undeniable sign from spirit. If you feel disconnected from your guides, it also doesn't mean that they've left you. Today, I'm breaking down what spirit guides actually are, how they communicate with you, why you may feel like you're not receiving anything when you try to connect in with them, and how to actually build a relationship where you can ask a question, receive guidance back, and trust what you're receiving. I'm also going to share my own experiences with spirit guides, like the moment that my spirit guides told me that my RN department would be shutting down 3 days before it actually happened. So if you want to understand your spirit guides and learn how to work with them, this episode is going to be for you. My name is Layla Taylor. I'm an intuitive healer, mentor, and guide. And this is Stop Trying to Be Spiritual. It is the show all about connecting into your intuition, your psychic abilities, channeling your spirit guides by bridging the connection to the body, the shadow, and the inner child, so you can truly become the channel through which your soul can lead and express itself in your life. Connecting to spirit guides is one of the main things that most people want to learn about. And I can tell you, I never knew about spirit guides. It's not as though I remember having visitations from people growing up. I had a spiritual awakening in 2018 by having a tooth pulled. And in between that time, like 2018 to 2020, I focused on meditation, getting curious about why I experience what I feel, all of my emotional kind of ups and downs, how to clear energy. And I took that time to really absorb a lot of information, podcasts, books, trying to understand what is this world of spirituality, because it was so different than the world I grew up in, which was very strong Christian in the Bible Belt in the Midwest. And so there was no opportunity for me to even consciously have in my awareness an idea of a spirit guide at all. So in 2020, I connected to my spirit guides. It was in the middle of the night. I was on call as a high-risk labor and delivery nurse. And on call means you're kind of like waiting till a certain part in the night to see if another patient comes in. I think it was around 1, 2, or 3 a.m. I'll have to look at the note because I still have my notes app. And I sat down and I decided, okay, now's the right time to connect into my guides. And I just invited each one of my guides to come in one by one. And I paid attention to like, what did they feel like? What did they sound like? Did it feel masculine or feminine? Where did I feel pressure on my body? And I wrote down, guide 1 is like this. Guide 2 is like this. Guide 3 is like this. And since then, I have connected into my spirit guides daily to receive some sort of intuitive guidance, some sort of reflection, some sort of understanding of what my day is holding for me, what I experienced in my day. And what your spirit guides really do is they offer a deeper and a higher perspective of the experience that we're going through as humans. Now, some people will say, why connect into your guides if you can connect into your higher self? Are my guides even here? Have they left me? And so we're going to go over that. Also, like, again, like some experiences that I've had that I think is going to give you a fuller understanding of spirit guides, because I think it's kind of confusing. Like, what are these guides? So spirit guides are non-physical energies that are, I believe, predestined for you. Just like your soul chooses exactly what time and date to be born, where to be born, the parents through which to be born into, have a pre-existing relationship to the guides that will be assisting us in this life. We as soul have an awareness that when we come into the body, we know the main theme. They know what we're coming in here as a soul mission, as a purpose, what we're going to move through, what our desire is to create in this lifetime. And that is why we have certain and specific spirit guides. Now, why talk to your spirit guides if you have a connection to your higher self? This is the thing. Higher self energy is a completely different frequency than spirit guide energy. Higher self energy is very high frequency, and we're going close to the Godhead, to that energy. It does not really conceptualize itself in a way that is very understanding for the human experience. And in the same way of which, if I wanted to understand mathematics, if I went and spoke to Albert Einstein, he could really not be able to help me in like simple 3rd grade math, because his mind and his frequency would be on this like higher spectrum of mathematics. But if I went and spoke to my 2nd, 3rd grade teacher, she could very easily kind of break it down for me of this versus this. Are they both teaching math? Yes. Could I go to the highest possible source? Yes. Would I be able to understand it? No. Okay. And what we have to understand is, although we're experiencing ourselves in this physical energy at this present time, that this is just a small fractal of our soul energy, and we are expressing ourselves through time and space in multiple different lives. And we are still connected to the higher self. We are the higher self. This is just an expression that our higher self is breaking down into soul, into personality, and experiencing ourselves here. So in a way, I could say, well, I'm connected to all. I'm connected to the God consciousness. I am the universe. Like, people will say that. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that that's digestible for you in the human form. And so our spirit guides are more closely connected to our frequency. They have a higher perspective. They're outside of the physical body. They're non-physical energies that are directly connected to your learning. They know exactly who you are, and their desire is to help guide you this lifetime. Now, is Grandma your spirit guide? I say no. Grandma can help guide you to an extent, because the frequency of who Grandma is, what you're calling in, is going to be the energy of that, of grandmother. So while Grandma can guide you, your spirit guides are different. The reason why we connect into spirit guides is they are the ability, they are the frequency that allows you to ask a question and receive guidance that is digestible, understandable. And also, we have to look at the way they show up for us symbolically, because the way in which they show up for you symbolically is also information of what they're here to help you with, and or what you're here to achieve this lifetime, what you're currently working on. And so we'll go into that. Some people have said, do we only have like 3 or 4 guides, or do guides leave us? So this is the thing. How my spirit guides have showed me when I've asked that, or I've interacted with other people's spirit teams, is I want you to think of it like stadium seating. We have 3 or 4, typically 5 sometimes, main spirit guides, and I want you to think of them as the first row, meaning they're most connected to you at this moment. What they're here to help you with is what you're currently needing in this exact moment. What I'll see is multiple rungs of spirit guides behind them. Usually they'll be in some kind of like cloudy energy. Why? It's not like dark energy. It means that they're just not in the forefront of your energy. So could I say that spirit guides come in and out, or they leave you? That would be a very simplified way of saying it. I believe that we're all connected to our spirit guides, ascended masters, to truly everyone in the universe in some sort of energetic web. But what we're really wanting to pay attention to is proximity, and the reason why that energy would be closely connected to you in that exact moment, based upon what you're going through in your current life. So I do believe that our guides are always with us. They just might not be as close to us because another guide has pulled from the other rungs and coming closer. Now, spirit guides can be a multiple different energies. Ascended masters, I even put them into a whole nother frequency. This is like Jesus, Mother Mary, I even go like Joan of Arc, kind of like in these energies, these kind of archetypal energies that can work with us. Can they guide us? Yes. Do I feel like they're main spirit guides where they're just like right close to you? No. There can be a period of time where you're connecting into that energy very frequently. Like I connected into a client last week, and very close in her energy was Archangel Gabriel and the Mother Mary. And so I was like, I don't know how you feel about religion, but as soon as we opened up, Archangel Gabriel came behind you, and then Mother Mary started her signal for me as she pours oil and water on people's heads and feet. And immediately the client started to have a strong emotional response. And she said she's been working with Archangel Gabriel and Mother Mary, and what they were really wanting to give her and why they were coming into her energy field is a sense of, usually for the mother, if they're grieving, they're going through a tough time, and they're needing nurturance and a sense of love and compassion. So because those two beings came in, does that mean that that's part of her main spirit guide team? No. Does it mean that they're closely working with her? Yes. Like I said, there's proximity and rungs to how spirit guides work with people. So a guide never leaves you. It just could move differently based upon what you're currently going through. And you can think of this in your life. Like, if you start a business, the people around you that are closest to you might change. It might become other business owners. It might become people who are also doing that kind of level of work. It's just going to be different versus if you are a school teacher, the kind of people that are going to be around you are different. And then you transition out of that to being a doctor, you're going to have different people around you. In the same way, that's a very simplified version of it. but the people around you are going to shift and change. Now, something another client had said to me last week is she was like, I'm really upset. I feel like my guides are ignoring me, mad at me, or maybe I just don't have a connection to my guides. Maybe I don't have guides. And I can tell you that all of that is wrong. It is stuck in the human story. It's stuck in the sense of separation. Our guides never abandon us. Our guides never don't respond to us. Our guides are never like, oh, Layla hasn't been listening to me, so now I'm not going to answer her. What you're really going through is you are probably experiencing actually it can be a couple things here. One, it's how are you currently in your body and your experience right now? Are you going through a lot of difficult situations? Are you sleeping? Are you hydrated? Are you moving your body? Are you able to get into your heart? Are you able to be real with yourself? Those all affect, think of it like a coating around the body and the ability to connect into those higher frequencies of spirit guide, soul consciousness. If you are covered with the pain of the human experience, then connecting into your guides is going to be difficult. So that's why I work with everyone on connecting to their guides, their intuition, the Akashic records, mediumship. First, we need to get the body open and expansive so that the heart can really expand and you can connect into those higher frequencies. That's the main reason is most people are never taking the time to actually settle into their energy and get into a flow state. And so they just say, oh, because I can't feel the connection, because it feels like it's easier for other people, that must mean that my guides aren't with me or my guides are mad at me. And that's just untrue. Also, do you know how to actually connect into the energy of your spirit guides? Do you know how you uniquely receive intuitive information? Are you able to pay attention to the very subtle energy that's happening all around you? That's why I said from 2018 to 2020, I just focused on meditating, observing my emotions and feelings, and really kind of staying in the heart, being curious, so that when I did connect in on 2020, when I made that choice, I was already very, very sensitive to energy. I was already able to tell when there was energy coming into my space that wasn't mine, or it was mine and it was disempowered. So building that sensitivity was helpful for me because I wasn't aware that I was intuitive or psychic or anything like that until I literally had that tooth pulled in 2018. I just took myself to be a sensitive person, overly emotional. All right. So when you don't know how you intuitively receive and you don't know how to connect in and release the energy out of the body and move into a flow state, that's going to feel like my guides aren't connecting with me. And it truly is just a technicality issue. It is an energy state that doesn't mean oh, now I got to take years to get this right. No, we could very quickly move your energy and release it to go into the heart and start connecting into your guides. So does that mean that your guides were not there, or does it mean that you weren't able to connect in? And in all honesty, some people, well, it depends on who you are. You could take that and go, oh, so you're saying this is my fault. If that's your thought and perception, you have so much more work to do. And you take it in a negative way, lovingly, you're going to have to work through that. What I'm actually saying is that makes me happy to know it's me. Oh, my guides haven't abandoned me. The gods haven't turned their faces from me. That is such a man-made way of thinking about spirituality and connection. You unconsciously really put that onto the connection to spirit. That's your own trauma, your own pain, the own connection to the human that is being projected onto spirit and which will make you feel disconnected. You will feel that 100% until you learn to go beyond that and really move in trust and faith that I know that my guides are there. I know God is with me. I know that the goddess is with me. And even in my confusion, I know that they are there. That's faith. Because then what that's going to do is going to actually connect you. Your guides are not on some time frame as well. They're outside of time. Meaning in the 3D, we really experience time. We have to move through time. Once we get to these higher frequencies, when we're going up to guides, we're going up to the Akashic, or going up to these different levels, time is not the same. It is not linear. It's a spiral. It's always existing. It's always available. And so my guides aren't from 3 to 5, Layla better not talk to us because, we're off on planet 24A dealing with a crisis over there. It doesn't work like that. We're a web of energy and those guides are intricately connected to you and they do not get annoyed. So human of us to think that. And like I said, I experienced the same thing. Are you guys upset with me? Does it annoy you that I keep calling you in and out? No. Oh, okay. Also, oh, it's just me. It's me who has forgotten myself. It's not that people are turning their backs from me. It's not that people are annoyed with me. It's not that I ask too many questions. It's not that I'm too emotional. Like all of these things that have always been an issue in my life. It's not that. Okay. It's me. Okay. How do I then regulate myself in this moment so that I can unlock my other potential, my expansion? That I want to be able to change that for myself. That feels like, oh, okay, it's not I'm being abandoned. It's just I've abandoned myself. How can I move into closer proximity to my heart? And that's why I really connect to people in the first place. That's why I say your energy has to be right to connect into your guides and everything like that. Also have been asked about like, how do you get new guides? What I really recommend is to have a daily ritual of connecting into your intuition every single day, whether it's 1 minute, 5 minutes, it doesn't matter. If you actually desire this needs to be an integral part of your day. Learn to ritualize it, learn to go past your discomfort, past your excuses, and really lean into, let me really become connected to my soul, who I am, my intuition. Let that be a part of connecting to your guides too. If you feel called and connected to spirit guides, not everyone is interested in connecting into spirit guides. That's fine. They're still interacting with you. It's just not consciously in your forefront. You're not choosing to go back and forth with questions in that way. But if you do desire it, then you need to be doing this. If I was working with you, I'd be like, you need to be doing this, that, and, or expect the confusion. Expect that sense of separation. That should be expected if you're not allowing yourself to have that kind of connection. Okay. So, calling in new guides. I haven't necessarily called in new guides, but I've been open to having new guides. And so the times I've met new spirit guides have really been, I sit down like normal into meditation. All of a sudden, like this whole new energy comes in. They're looking at me, talking to me. I'm like, who are you? I'm your spirit guide. I'm going to work with you on this. Perfect. Great. Why are you here? Why now? And I get information from them. So I can tell you when I first started, my main spirit guide was also my intuitive guide and my mediumship guide. So she was filling all of the roles. I had other spirit guides, but she was like my main intuitive and main guide. So that was fine for like 2 or 3 years. And then I started offering sessions, and then I started having pay for sessions. They were very low at first. And I was really struggling with like trusting myself and feeling like, who am I to do this? And like fear and all of this stuff. And so all of a sudden I was meditating, closed my eyes, and immediately I saw, this like image, like I was there. If you've ever closed your eyes and been like I'm in a movie and I'm not controlling it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Where I say it looks like, if you ever watched Stranger Things, when Elle is in the in-between space, and it's all black, and like the water on the floor looks like a mirage, like an oil slick almost. That's where I found myself. In the far distance, there was a woman on this throne. And I was like, oh, I was so shocked because I was like, it was just like I was immersed in it. And so I opened my eyes, closed them. And then when I closed it, same space, and her throne was closer and she was looking at me. And then I breathed, and I was trying to control my energy because it was a lot of like energy. It was intense. And then she was closer until she was right in front of my face. And I remember asking like, who are you? Why are you here? And she said that I am your guide and I'm going to help you go below, go deeper. And that's where I knew that she was talking about like shadow energy and going into more of those darker kind of realms that we usually don't desire to go into. Now, as someone who grew up very religious, someone who grew up feeling as though I saw scary things, demons on people's faces when I closed my eyes, I could literally I felt like I could be possessed. For me, anything like that is terrifying. And I remember hearing about shadow work and I was like, I have absolutely no desire to talk about shadow work. I'm not a person who thinks like that. I'm just going to stay in the light. Please help me. Don't bring anything like scary or negative around. I didn't understand what shadow work was. I thought it was not for me. But shadow work is the exact reason why I do what I do. The reason why you don't trust yourself, the reason why you feel disconnected from your purpose and power is largely because of your shadow energy that you have locked away, which is your power. And so to truly connect into your intuition, we have to allow the metaphor of the shadow to come through and understand, where are we discrediting ourselves, betraying ourselves, lying to ourselves, not loving ourselves? That's all the shadow. And how do we transmute that into conscious awareness? And so this guide came through. She's one of my main spirit guides now, who works with intuition, but also connected into shadows. When you come into session with me, this main guide that I work with, we're going to be working with healing, with going to what's the actual issue? What's the actual disconnect here? What's the actual block, self-limiting belief? And also then how do we transmute that and connect to our intuition? So your guides will come in at very specific times for what you are going through in your life. Now, like I said, when we connect into our spirit guides, we call them in and out of our energy field. We want to pay attention to how they feel to us. So that first day I did, it's like, how do they feel? Where was the pressure at? What did I feel like they sounded like? It's very subtle energy. And once you allow yourself to get an energetic signature of your spirit guides, it's not so overwhelming. It's like, okay, I know that this is my main guide because I'm feeling pressure here every single time they come in. So now I know the connection to my guide. I know what they're working on with me. I know how they present. I know they're more of a masculine or feminine energy. And so my guides have been incredibly helpful in so many ways. One, I have so many thoughts in my mind that will overtake me. And that has been the issue for most of my life, is they'll overtake me in rumination, thinking. I will just start creating things. And so my guides are this beautiful reflection and mirror to me. Like, why do I keep thinking about this? Why can't I let this go? What is the deeper message here? What is this wanting to show me? And I get to have this outward reflection to come back to me, to help me understand in a deeper, entire perspective, again, of why I'm experiencing what I'm experiencing. And so then when I get to the core of it, then I ask my guide, well, lead and guide me through the transmutation of it. How do I move through this? What does that look like on a daily basis? So for me, it was a way to have a reflection, a mirror that reflects onto me outside of the chaos in my mind. It allowed me to go into my heart and to see everything I'm experiencing as a message, as a metaphor of what I'm needing to heal, release, let go of, what I'm currently experiencing. And so everything I do with people, everything I share is information and guidance my guides have walked me through, either in client sessions and or my own sessions with myself. That's my whole teaching here. Everything I'm sharing with you guys is what I've received through interaction and reflection from my guides. And then my own abilities connected into that. And then doing this so often in so many thousands of readings that now it's just like, it's, of course, like I can connect in with you and immediately I'm talking to my guides and your guides. What's going on with her? How does her energy want to flow? Why is she not doing this? What is the actual issue? And then hold the space. I ask you questions. I see what your awareness is, what you need. They as well are integral parts in every session that I do. Now, my spirit guides have told me when things are going to happen. 3 days before my department, because I left high risk labor and delivery and took a remote RN position for maybe it was about a year at most, where we did admissions and went through client charts and did assessments and stuff virtually for a large hospital organization. And on that Friday, I went down to meditate and my guides came in very clearly and said, on Monday, the department is closing. Now, there was no talk of this. So I was like, really? But they were so clear. They said, you're going to be given 3 months of severance. You will be fine. And they actually said it was because of Saturn. And so I've learned, I think it was like Saturn went into Pisces. I don't know. It was in 2023 in like February or March. And I didn't even understand it until I started paying attention to astrology here recently. And I was like, oh, that is what they said. Something about Saturn. I was like, okay. And I told my guides, like, do I need to look for another position, like another RN position? Because what you need to know is from 2020 to 2023, I was offering sessions while I was still working as an RN. I never had any thought that I was going to leave my job as an RN. Like, there's no way I could make that kind of money. I couldn't imagine not working as a nurse. So when I asked my guides, do I need to look for another job? They were like, you don't need to. You can do this full time. And I was like, oh, I can? They're like, yeah. I was like, well, what? I remember asking them on this Friday, how am I going to do that? And they said, tell us each week how many people you want and we'll bring them to you. Okay. Now, sure enough, on Monday, we had our monthly meeting where we were going to be initiating for the next, going over the plan for the next month. And they were like, actually, the department is closing and we're sending out severance packages. I knew it. It was like, okay, great. I say all of that to say that every single week, I was able to tell my guides, this is how many people I want. And without fail, those people found their way to me. It was insane. All I had to do was keep showing up, keep sharing, keep talking. I didn't have to, I've never bought ads, never done anything like that. Just keep showing up. Okay. And we will bring people to you. Why do I tell you this? I tell you this as well because the connection to your guides doesn't necessarily mean that you can, that you're going to receive all the information in the universe. Your guides really don't work like that. But when it's important, they will give you a heads up. And then that's when you can ask for guidance. What a lot of people are doing is they want to connect into their spirit guides or their psychic abilities, and they want to immediately ask, can I do this? Can I become a spiritual practitioner? And the message is confusing. They're like, I don't really understand. And the reason why is the quality of questions you're asking. Are you looking for your guide to tell you that this is a fail-safe, that if you start practicing, you're going to become one of the best intuitives? That I would say that that's like the wrong question to ask your guides. I would ask your spirit guides, and this is one thing I help people with, is how to actually word questions better so they actually get the guidance. What energy do I need to put in, create? What actions do I need to take if I desire to offer sessions for other people? That's the questions I would be asking. Like I said, okay, so I've been talking to my guides for 3 years. They never once were like, you're going to be doing this full time. It was always a possibility. It was always as though the energy was there, but they weren't like, of course you're going to be doing this. It was a personal choice. Am I putting in the action? Am I creating the energy? So your guides aren't going to give you like the keys to the universe. They're not going to give you the lottery numbers. Typically, you are going to be able to receive guidance back and forth and then you have to make the choice of how you're going to utilize that guidance and start directing your life. And I've decided to reopen Awaken. It's going to be a 4-week course in which we are connecting into your specific psychic abilities, how to clear and command energy so you create the perfect structure for connecting in. Also, how to channel your spirit guides and receive daily intuitive guidance. How do you go beyond one-word answers, break down your messages? What this is going to show you how to do is how to actually trust what you're receiving and break down the information so you're not just feeling energy. You actually understand how to make it mean something for you. Information will be down below. One-on-one mentorship and or sessions. Information will be down below as well. If you like the show, please rate, send it to a friend, share on social media, tag me. If you do, you can do layla.l.taylor. I don't really stay active in my Stop Trying to Be Spiritual Instagram account, but it is a goal of mine too. And until next time, stop trying to be spiritual.